that's increasingly more business-friendly.
We did a moratorium, a 3-year moratorium on our business tax. We called it a business tax holiday. We're about to extend it for another 3 years.
At a time when the unemployment rate in the city is at 12.5%, the city can't afford to lose job creators and sales tax generators like car dealerships. And so today, in addition to paying no gross receipts tax, car dealerships and other businesses are being actively courted by the city with promises of less red tape and more expediency.
We came up with this case management unit where 7 different departments are housed in the same unit. And the result has been when there's a problem, it's now on us to fix it. And
in return, many of Universal City's expansion project will bring with it 200-plus construction jobs, 20 additional permanent jobs, and a 75% increase in sales tax revenue.
I love Mini of Universal City because I've bought 2 cars here. They even sent me a birthday card this year, so I'm a fan.
A dedication to customer service and a commitment to investing in the community. Just the type of model business the city hopes will inspire more businesses to follow in its footsteps and set up shop in L.A. In the past 50 years, about 100 car dealerships in the city have moved away because of the gross receipts tax. But since the tax holiday began 3 years ago, the city has seen the return of a handful of dealerships. Well, many people come to Los Angeles to see the sights and eat at some of the city's most well-known eateries. Well, now, as soon as they get off the plane, they can get a true taste of L.A. Rasha Goel explains.
It's a recipe for success as Los Angeles World Airports bring some new taste to LAX. Travelers can now enjoy Chef Wolfgang Puck's food at the Wolfgang Puck Express in Terminal 7.
So many people who go through LAX see us here first or see us here at the end of their trip. And we want people to leave LA with the best memory.
Puck was one of the first to bring a chef-inspired cuisine to the airport when the first Wolfgang Puck Express opened in LAX's Terminal 2 in 1995. Now he and his partner, Delaware North Company's Travel Hospitality Services, have come together to bring a transformed dining experience to the airport, all part of the city's plan to modernize LAX.
We're trying to take the very dated concessions and offerings for our passengers and bring them up to what LA today really is.
It will excite people and make that experience flying a little more comfortable.
Wolfgang Puck Express offers its guests the opportunity to dine in the restaurant, or if you're on the go, you can order your food with a quick click.
We're going to invest $40 billion in modernizing the airport and making it safer and improving the customer experience.
I travel a lot, and I'm always looking for restaurants, not the to-go foods. So this is perfect.
Terminal 7 isn't the only one with new additions. Famed Food Network Iron Chef Masaharu Morimoto brings his new Japanese dining concept, skewers, to Terminal 5. Along with his singing talent.
I choose Los Angeles because people who live here has more knowledge about Japanese culture and food.
Both restaurants will offer travelers a unique and diverse dining experience, giving them a memorable taste of LA. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
LAX is planning to open a total of 59 new concessions throughout its terminals. Honoring local Olympians, 3 firms go head-to-head for the chance to redesign the 6th Street Bridge and pledging not to text and drive. These stories and more in City Beat. Councilmember Eric Garcetti honors local Olympians at a recent city council meeting.
If California were its own Olympic team in the past 2012 London Olympics, it would have had a bigger delegation in London than Mexico, Turkey, or Switzerland.
4 Olympic track and field athletes were on hand for the special recognition. Keshia Baker, Dwayne Solomon, Lashinda Demas, and Carmelita Jeter.
I'd just like to thank you so much for acknowledging us and acknowledging myself as being from Los Angeles, California.
In all, 128 members of Team USA at the 2012 London Olympics hail from California, with the majority from Southern California. 20 of them came home with a medal. The 6th Street Bridge is another step closer to getting the makeover it so desperately needs. The cracked and dilapidated 6th Street Bridge is considered the most at-risk bridge in the city to collapse during an earthquake. 3 design firms, HNTB, AECOM, and Parsons Brinckerhoff, are now in the running for the $401 million job, paid for mostly by the federal government. You're looking at renderings from the 3 firms for the proposed bridge redesign. Councilman Jose Huizar says he would like to see the original bridge replaced with one as iconic as the first. Construction is expected to begin by early 2015. The target year for opening is 2018. Did you know you're 23 times more likely to get into a car accident if you are texting behind the wheel? Council members Jose Huizar and Joe Buscaino introduced a motion to declare September 19th the No Texting While Driving Pledge Day in the city of Los Angeles. They also honored AT&T, which is airing public service announcements, as well as taking an in-car simulator to more than 200 locations before the end of the year to show people the dangers of texting and driving. Councilmember Richard Alarcon is asking the city to explore using eminent domain creatively to help families facing foreclosure to stay in their homes. San Bernardino County is currently using eminent domain to seize distressed mortgages from homeowners for the purpose of replacing those mortgages with more affordable ones that would reduce the homeowners' debts and allow them to keep their homes. The motion is now being studied by the council's Housing, Community, and Economic Development Committee. It's been said time and time again, the city wants to stop euthanizing the animals in the city's animal shelters. And at a recent pet adoption event, animal lovers did their part by opening up their hearts and homes. This adorable kitten and other cuddly animals are up for adoption, and this animal lover is on the lookout.
There's so many dogs here that are going to be put down that it just seems a waste to me to go to any other place other than your local humane society to get the dog.
Adrian Krunich is just the kind of potential pet owner the city's shelters need to give their animals a home. Councilmember Tony Cardenas joined with LA Animal Services to hold the annual Pet Resource Fair at the East Valley Animal Care Center in Van Nuys on a recent Saturday in hopes of making many love connections and saving the lives of thousands of abandoned animals in the process.
Still, over 15,000 animals are euthanized in our city. Over 500,000 animals are euthanized just in the state of California every single year. And I think the main reason why, it's not the dogs and cats, it's human beings aren't doing the right thing. You need to spay and neuter your animals.
To put it bluntly,
a wonderful family like yours is going to adopt that pet, or we're going to have to put it to sleep. Those are the only 2 things that are going to happen once they end up here.
So instead of buying your pet from a pet store or from a breeder, consider finding your next pet from the city's animal shelters.
We're asking people to come in, see that we're not a scary place, see we have wonderful animals for adoption.
And it looks like at least one person has found her love connection. The event offered those interested in adopting shelter pets discounted pet adoptions. Angelinos on a limited income received free microchipping and low-cost vaccinations for their pets. In this week's list of things to do, an exhibit featuring the works of black artists, another featuring the works of those who were or still are behind bars, and Pioneer Day in the Valley. Check out the first Vela con Duende exhibit at the Watts Towers Art Center. Vela stands for Black Artists in Los Angeles. The exhibit opened in early September and will run through January 6, 2013. The exhibit features the works of 71 living black artists in Los Angeles at all levels of their careers. More info can be found at culturela.org. The City of Los Angeles Department of Cultural Affairs also presents Dragon's Flight, an exhibit on the transformative power of creating art. The exhibit runs from Saturday, October 6th through Saturday, November 24th. The opening reception, which also includes a concert and resource fair, will be held on the first day of the exhibit from noon to 6 p.m. at the William Grant Still Art Center, located at 520 South Westview Street. The exhibition features the works of artists who are or have been incarcerated, or artists who work in collaboration with incarcerated artists. The United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council and the Mid-City Neighborhood Council helped fund the exhibit. More info can be found at culturela.org. And on Sunday, October 7th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., check out Pioneer Day at the Homestead Acre in Chatsworth. This family-friendly event celebrates the rich history of Northwest San Fernando Valley. There will be a chili cook-off, a bake sale, and demonstrations of wood carving, arrowhead making, panning for gold, and more. The Homestead Acre is located at 10385 Shadow Oak Drive in Chatsworth. A $5 donation for adults and $1 for kids is suggested. Go to historicalsocieties.net for details. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. Fall is here, and as usual, the Griffith Observatory marks the occasion with a lesson on the changing of the seasons. As summer ends and fall arrives in the northern hemisphere, Griffith Observatory invited the public to the observatory to gain a better understanding of the autumnal equinox, the first day of fall when day and night are of equal lengths.
During the summer, we in the north are tilted towards the sun. But as the sun orbits around, we start to go in that area between summer and winter. And that would be fall for us in the north and spring for the southern hemisphere.
And as we enter the fall and winter seasons, our days will start to grow shorter as the hours of darkness grow longer.
People have looked to the movement of the sun to understand the seasons and when to plant, when to harvest, when to go hunting.
And this year's autumnal equinox, September 22nd, happened to fall on the observatory's monthly star party, when amateur astronomers set up telescopes and invite anyone interested to look at the sun, moon, visible planets, and other objects.
I had read in the on the internet that the telescopes would be set up with people who could explain to us what we were looking for. And I thought that would be fascinating.
A fascinating lesson on our solar system that never ceases to amaze. Autumn ends for us with the winter solstice on December 21st. To find out more about the observatory's many programs and exhibits, go to griffithobservatory.org. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We leave you with video and photos of the shuttle Endeavour's last flight over and arrival here in Los Angeles. See you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Remember, pets need to prepare for disasters too. Put together an emergency kit with water, a water bowl, food, and any medications they may need. Get the message. Be prepared.
G'day, Troy McCubbin from North Hollywood. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35, our city, our channel.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, October 2nd. Welcome to your Los Angeles City Council meeting. My name is Herb Wesson, and I'll be today's presiding officer. The council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. All of our meetings are open to the public. You're welcome to come and watch us work or either come down and comment on our work. Madam Clerk, I believe we have a quorum. Would you please call the roll?
Alarcon, Buscaino, Cardenas, Englander, Garcetti, Weezer, Chris, Krikoyan, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zion, Wesson. 11 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Englander moves, Buscaino seconds. Next.
Committee resolutions for approval.
Mr. Reyes moves, Mr. Labange seconds.
Mr. President, today is Tuesday, and now would be the time for the flag salute.
Okay, if everybody in the chambers would please rise for our flag salute led today by Joe Buscaino.
With great honor, Mr. President, please place your right hand over your heart, face the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Madam Clerk, why don't we quickly run through the presentations, and then, let's run through the calendar, and then we'll proceed with our presentations.
Items 1 and 2 are items noticed for public hearing. The Department of Building and Safety reports that item 1B, H, and L may be received and filed in as much as the liens have been paid. Okay. Also, there is a request for the lien amounts for items 1G and K to be reduced to $805.60 and $6,698.15 respectively due to the partial payments that have been received.
Okay, without objection. Any cards?
Cards on item 1.
Okay. On the member specials, okay, let's prepare to vote. Madam Clerk, let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, let's go, Madam Clerk, to the next section.
Items 3 through 7 are items for which public hearings have been held. The ballot tabulation results for items 3, 77.3% of the ballots cast were in support and 22.7% of ballots cast were in opposition. For item 4, 66.2% of the ballots cast were in support, 33.8% of the ballots cast were in opposition. And for item 5, 88.12% of the ballots cast were in support and 11.79% of the ballots cast were in opposition. The weighted value of the supporting ballots exceeds the weighted value of the opposing ballots, and a majority protest was not found to exist in all 3 items. Therefore, council may proceed with the establishment of all 3 business improvement districts.
Okay, thank you. Next time we'll have the city attorney read that so he can earn his pay. Okay, Mr. Zine, item 6, Ms. Perry.
I'd like to call item 7 special.
Item 7, Ms. Perry. Mr. Weezar.
5.
Item 5 for Mr. Weezar. Mr. Englander? Are you good? Oh, okay. All right, so on the remaining items, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Let's go to the next section.
Items 8 through 17 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes required for consideration.
Okay, without objection, those items are now before us. Mr. Joey B.
Item 17, please.
17 for
It'll be
Mr.
part of the presentation.
17 for Mr. Buscaino. Any cards?
Cards on items 8, 9, 15, and 17.
Okay, we'll hold those items. Specials, members, specials. Okay, let's prepare to vote, Madam Clerk. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Yes.
On the supplemental agenda, item 18 is an item for which a public hearing has not been held. 10 votes required for consideration. There are cards on this item.
Okay, what's item 18?
Item 18 is a resolution.
That's mine. Okay, we'll hold that. Okay, now, where does that bring us?
That takes council to presentations or items called special.
Okay, at this point in time, I want to deal with the presentations. Mr. Labange, are you ready? So we're going to turn it over to Mr. Tom Labange at this time.
Okay, Mary, come on in, everybody up here. Good. And do we have the winners here?
Yes.
How many winners do we have? Let's have the winners up front. Okay.
We have Natasha. She's
Yeah.
the big winner.
Right.
And then
From Latino Art Beat.
Diana, she's
Here we go. Bring them all in there. Good morning, Mr. President. You know how important education is and how important contests are. Contests to get young people involved in the art, which is so important. And how many of us in our lives got some opportunity somewhere at a Los Angeles school where you were in the playground or in the classroom, and it gave you a chance to do something else. A nationwide program that is sponsored by Latino Art Beat is the annual competition for high school students participating in schools every May. Now, this time of year, we recognize those winners. Latino Art Beat celebrates their 50th anniversary for holding its annual competition. Since it's the dream of Don Rossi's nephew, Daniel Cisneros, for holding an artwork competition for artistically inclined high school students to motivate them. Just like sometimes who are city planners get motivated by learning about land use and things like this. These students got motivated by art, which is absolutely so important. Latino Art Beat has been one of the most prominent organizations of its type and has made a difference in the lives of tens of thousands of high school art students throughout the country. It has awarded over $3 million in scholarship, monetary prizes, and college credits throughout the country. Latino Art Beat has indeed not only made a difference for the growing number of Latinos, but it has helped to find an outlet and means for those who show artistic promise and wish to develop art skills to capture their Latino heritage. Here on October 2nd, the Los Angeles Latino Art Beat winners will be recognized in here, the John Ferraro Chambers of City Council during Hispanic Heritage Month. So it's so important to salute them, and on behalf of all of us, we salute these students who now I'm going to honor. Let's hear it overall for Latino Art Beat 2012. Now we're going to call on first Dorothy Lee from John Marshall High School is award winner for your work. Dorothy, I want you to step up right here. Come up here, Dorothy, right now. Congratulations as someone who has made a difference, as an impact, as an educator for the young people in so many ways. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Marissa Rodriguez, who's second place right here. Marissa, also from Marshall? From John Marshall High. That's a great high school there, Mr. Weston. John Marshall High School. Marissa Rodriguez. Congratulations, Marissa. You went to Marshall.
Yeah.
Natasha, I want to pronounce your last name correctly.
Carrasco.
Carrasco. John Marshall High School, first place, Latino Art Beat 2012. Congratulations to you. Now, Mr. President and members, you know sometimes I pick up a camera and try to capture the view of the city. I do have a confession. I got a D in art at John Marshall High School. Okay. But that demotivated me, Sergeant. It motivated me to do better and stronger. James Burke was the educator, and he said, Labange, you got to do better, and I did better. So you've already done better, and I want to congratulate you on Latino Heritage Month for receiving this commendation. If you want to just say a few words, if you would, right now.
I'm just really honored to be here, and I'm really excited that I've been able to share this experience with everyone, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. So, thank you.
Thank you. And LA Unified has some great people, and they're in the classroom. They're in a variety of programs, but this superintendent is the one who's beyond the bell. Al Cortines. Al, come up here and say, Superintendent Al Cortines.
It's Cortez. Cortines is the previous owner of the superintendent's office. City Council, I just want to thank you quickly. One thing from last year, in June, you gave a vote of unanimous vote to support after-school programs in the LA Unified School District, and I want to thank you for that. I think it helps sway the Board of Education to maintain Beyond the Bell in its budget for this year. And as you can tell, our support of after-school programs, any endeavor that gets our students engaged and involved and keeps them safe in a supervised activity that allows them to grow and develop as human beings, it's appropriate for us. And I want to thank you always for your support, all 15 members of the council. Thank you so very much.
Al, thank you. Beyond the Bell rings the bell for life. Art is another part of the humanities that's so important. Congratulations to these students and their parents and the teachers. Give them all a big hand. All right, thank you so much. We're going to go back there and take some pictures now. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good job. You betcha. Beyond the Bell never stops ringing. Did I say that? Yeah. Yeah, I said that. Madam Clerk, did you hear what I said? Beyond the Bell never stops ringing. Let's give Beyond the Bell, LA Unified, another hand.
Mr. Buscaino for a presentation.
Thank you, colleagues. It's with great honor that we kick off the Italian American Heritage Month today. How appropriate that we stand before you in the John Ferraro Council chambers, where he's shining down upon us, right, Tom? And yes, for John Ferraro. Yes. And as a kid growing up in the city, when John Ferraro was on TV, my dad would nudge me and say, "Son, John Ferraro, he's Italian." So he reminded me of that growing up in this great city. I am a proud first-generation Italian-American, and it's a great honor to be standing here honoring the great contributions of our fellow Italian-Americans as your elected official representing the great 15th. As many of you know, Italian-Americans have a rich history in the founding and growth of this continent and this nation. In fact, I was at the Watts Towers over the last weekend when I continue to hear and celebrate the story of Sabato Rodia, who immigrated here. And when I heard his story and saw the great work he did at the Watts Towers, it reminded me of my parents who immigrated here from Italy nearly over 40 years ago. How they came, as you see my family here before you, they came to this country for an opportunity to come work, provide for the family, and the Los Angeles Harbor is home to over 45,000 Italian Americans, the largest Italian American community in the state. And in 1524, let's talk a little history, Giovanni de Veranzo, a mariner from Florence, Italy, set foot in what is now Rhode Island. His arrival at Block Island and his observation that it was about the size of an island of Rhodes later gave Rhode Island its name. Italian Americans have made great contributions to American societies economically, artistically, culturally, scientifically, and politically. Italians and Italian Americans invented pianos, violins, calendars, radios, telescopes, compasses, microscopes, thermometers, eyeglasses, steam engines, typewriters, and batteries. And they're also great cooks, too. And Italian Americans have toiled and labored while helping to build our nation's infrastructure, including railroads, tunnels, highways, and subways. The Italian presence in Los Angeles began in 1827 with Giovanni Leandri, a native of Sardinia, who established a business and built a home in the Pueblo, adjacent to where Union Station currently stands. And the heart of the Italian enclave was located at what we know today as El Pueblo Historical Monument, Chinatown, and Lincoln Heights. And Italians have made significant contributions to the development of Los Angeles and California from the fields of banking, science, agriculture, transportation, and entertainment, and are responsible for landmarks such as the Watts Towers, Guasti Villa, Venice Canals, and the Biltmore Hotel. My hometown, the community of San Pedro in the 15th District, is home, as I mentioned, to an estimated 45,000 Italian Americans, making it home to the largest Italian American community in the state. Many San Pedro Italian social clubs are here before you that I'd like to honor, that I grew up with as an Angelino in the San Pedro area. And today is the proud day to be the first Italian American to represent the 15th. I continue to be humbled, grateful, and blessed for this opportunity. So with that, we have a few speakers. I want to recognize before our speakers are called up, the Trapido Club who's here, the Italian Catholic Federation of San Pedro, our Ischia San Pedro Sister City Foundation, the Italian American Club of San Pedro, representing each of the organizations, Stefano Finazzo, Grace Cellino, Carmela Funicello, and Neil D'Oliva. Their families, too, came to San Pedro for the fishing and canning industry for a better life for themselves and their families, the American dream. In fact, my aunt, Pina, who's here, who worked the canneries many, many years, and when she'd come home, she would babysit my sisters and I, and when she'd come home, she'd wear all white, and we'd tell her, Zia, you smell like fish. And she says, you see, that is the smell of money, that we are working hard, and I'll never forget that as a kid growing up. And it's exactly the fishing industry is what brought my family here, and why I stand before you as your city council member representing the 15th in this great city. So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming. I want to thank Mariana Gatto of the Italian American Museum of Los Angeles for helping to organize today's festivities. Also, Assemblymember Mike Gatto sends his love and regards, a dear friend of mine, and who is representing us very well as a Speaker Pro Tem in Sacramento. And I want to thank them all for coming. Also joining us is the Honorable Consul General Giuseppe Peroni, who is joining us. I want to invite him up to say a few words, Giuseppe. Grazie.
Well, thank you, Joe. These words are highly appreciated, and they are very powerful because they remind us all of the importance of the journey of Italian Americans since their arrival in the early 1800s up to today. And their amazing contribution to the city of Los Angeles that, as Mayor Villaraigosa was saying yesterday, is a city that really thrives with diversity and with the contribution of so many different communities. And Italian Americans are so intertwined, so special to the economic, social, but also urban landscape in Los Angeles. Like you yourself said, the towers by Simon Rodia as a really special monument and a testament to the creativity of Italians. But also, Italy served as an inspiration for the construction of Los Angeles. If you look at the Venice canals, or I was told that this room itself is remindful of or was built after the San Vitale Rotunda in Ravenna. So really the presence of Italy and Italians in Los Angeles is very powerful, and has been continuous since the very beginning up to this day. And it's very special, and I want to thank the mayor, I want to thank all the city council for their commitment and for proclaiming once again this year October Italian Heritage Month. This is very important for us because it happens in the month of the Columbus Day celebrations, where Italian heritage is celebrated throughout the United States. I want to also mention two other initiatives that we are working on and that are meant to remind Americans and people of Los Angeles of the importance of Italian heritage. And one is that we are listing all Italian or the major Italian works of art in a publication that is being curated by the Italian Cultural Institute, and its director is here, Alberto Di Mauro, and that's for, it will basically outline an itinerary of Italian works of art in the major permanent collection in Los Angeles. And also next year, 2013, will be the year of Italian culture in the United States. So with that, we want to showcase Italian culture in the whole country, and especially, particularly in Los Angeles, we will have a program of events that will highlight the importance, the continuing contribution that Italy has made to mankind with its culture, its art, and its creativity. Well, thank you for, again, renewing this commitment. I would like to thank, from the bottom of my heart, all the Italian association and the organizations that are here today and that work tirelessly every day to uphold, promote, and let everybody know of what the Italian heritage, Italian values are all about. So the Italian American Museum Foundation, the Federated Italo-American of Southern California, the National Italian American Foundation, San Gennaro, the Italians in San Pedro, the Sister City Committee of Los Angeles, everyone is really committed to this cause, and I really congratulate you for the daily work that you constantly do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And now it gives me a great honor to introduce to you someone who's really championed our Sister Cities Foundation, our Sister Cities program. And I remember I was here when Carmela joined Councilmember Labange in signing the commitment on establishing a sister city between the city of Los Angeles and Ischia. Councilmember Tom Labange.
Joe, thank you very much. It's great to see a native son, but a native son must do one thing. You forgot to introduce somebody very special who's here today.
Michael Grandy? My mom is here. Of course, I said my family. And also my mom, dad, my mother-in-law, my 92-year-old grandmother. She's been here over 40 years.
John Ferraro, he channeled me and he said you got to do that. But Carmela is going to speak for the Sister City. This is the great thing about our city, our neighborhoods, San Pedro, our towns, and the people. And the Italian people have done great things, and I always think of John Ferraro every day. Many of you knew John and his work. Carmela, say a few things on our Sister City.
Thank you, Tom. You are full of energy. I wish I could be like you more, because you accomplished a lot of things with that. Thank you for being here, all our Italian people, all our Italian friends back here. I want to say something. Gianni talked about a lot of Italians who were here. I want to remind to the people who don't know, the king who colonized California, Alta California, was 1/3 of Borbone, the son of an Italian princess, Italian blood and French blood. So we've been here for a very long time. Thank you.
That's right. And I also want to welcome and have her say a few words, Mariana Gatto from the Italian American Museum of Los Angeles.
Very good morning, esteemed members of the Los Angeles City Council and all those present today. My name is Mariana Gatto, and I'm the director of the Italian American Museum of Los Angeles. On behalf of the board of the directors of the IMLA and the 300,000 Italian Americans who call Los Angeles their home, I'm very happy to be here celebrating the 7th annual Italian Heritage Month. The IMLA feels fortunate not only to be your partners in the promotion of cultural tourism in the city of Los Angeles, but also in raising awareness of the unparalleled diversity of the city of LA. We hope in the near future, maybe next year, that this day is marked by a parade that begins at the Italian American Museum, fulfilling our dearly departed John Ferraro's wishes, continuing to City Hall, and then making a very long yet well worth it journey to San Pedro to continue with the largest community of Italian Americans in the region.
Yes.
In closing, I'd like to invite all of you to the Italian Americans Taste of Italy, which takes place on October 13th at El Pueblo. And also want to point out the little present that we brought all of you today, filled with a bunch of Italian goodies. And we're very happy to see you back, Councilman Rosenthal. Thank you so much.
Great.
Joe,
oh boy.
On the Magical Mystery Tour, the Beatles album that they had, Sgt. Pepper's.
Yes.
Guess who was in that list of all the people? Simon Rodia. He was one of those pictures.
Amazing.
That's amazing Italian history.
Amazing.
Right there.
Yes, I love it. And to our historian, thank you, Tom. I also want to bring up Ann Potenza. We just celebrated the 11th year of the Feast of San Gennaro in Hollywood. She wants to say a few words in another successful event. Ann Potenza.
Good job.
Thank you, Joe. Good morning, everybody. As we just this past weekend had our Feast of San Gennaro, Los Angeles, that is the beginning of our kickoff for amazing amazing activities that we will have throughout this entire month. I also have the honor of serving as the president of the Federated Italo-Americans of Southern California. And one of the things we want everyone to know that the Italians are alive and well in Los Angeles and Southern California. I have the honor of representing over 70 different Italian-American organizations with over 130 chapters in Los Angeles and Southern California. So through all of those people, we will be having amazing activities throughout the month of October, followed by an open invitation to everyone to join us on Sunday, October 14th at Casa Italiana, where we celebrate Columbus Day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ann. So it gives me great honor alongside Mr. Labange and to highlight and kick off October 2012, the Italian American Heritage Month in the city of Los Angeles. I'd like to present this to Mr. Peroni, Italian Consul General. Thank you so much.
Mr. Buscaino, we have a couple of members that would like to say a few words, starting with Mr. Bill Rosendahl. Bill?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Papa Joe, the name that I always know is Joe Sorrell. Joe Sorrell and I know Joe is looking at us right now from heaven. You always talk about the hall and that we need to make it part of the history of the beginning of this city. Joe is a very loyal guy, a very great guy, and Joe's looking at us. So God bless you, Joe Sorrell, and God bless you, Papa Joe.
Mr. Reyes.
Thank you, Council President. I stand and thank you for all of your contributions as our organization, the Federation. You know, in Highland Park, there's a bank that was built at the turn of the century. It's the Bank of Amadeo Giannini, who starts the Bank of Italy, that now becomes Bank of America. So when you look at the amazing contribution of the Italian Americans, the heritage, it goes back to the formation of this great city. There's also another great building in Chinatown, the St. Peter's Church, the hall there, that has been a focal point for many of the great traditions in the Italian-American community. So Lincoln Heights, Highland Park, my district, I call it the home of the original suburbs, has tremendous, tremendous historic landmarks. But the one that really stands out in my mind is the one on the corner of Cesar Chavez, where I got a tour by Mariana Gatto, and they showed me the tile work on the floor, the woodwork, the craft, the amazing history there, and what we could do to celebrate our founding fathers, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, everything they've been through to make this country so great. And we have one place that we really need to support as a city, as a federation, and hopefully everyone that's listening can understand how precious that site could be. So my hat goes off to you in continuing celebrating the great diversity, but also to my friends from grammar school, Joey Perry, Nick Campagna. These are all the guys I grew up with in Sacred Heart of Jesus, the elementary school. And a lot of my best friends were Italian. So I thank you guys, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. And Mr. President, did you know that the head of our city planning department, Mr. Michael Lograndi, you call him Logrand, my mom and my uncle here, my mom's maiden name is Lograndi. So we are related. I'm throwing this out. We are related. We just inherited another cousin. So we're now about 722 now. But I want to recognize Michael for his ongoing work, and another great Italian American who's giving some wonderful contributions to our great city. So before that, we have a number of Italian goodies on the rotunda. Everyone's invited. And also to celebrate the Italian American Heritage Month, I'm hosting a Spaghetti with the Councilman on October 8th from 4 to 9 p.m. at 1903 South Cabrillo. Everyone's invited, and we hope to see everyone there as well. So 1903 South Cabrillo in front of the Italian American Club in San Pedro. That's October 8th, Monday. Thank you. Forza Italia. Grazie.
No, thank you.
All right, let's all take some pictures with that.
Mr. Buscaino. Hey, Joey, you may want to, I see you have a camera lady on duty, but what you might want to do is order some DVDs so that you can distribute them to your guests.
For the picture, we're going to
Okay, Madam Clerk, that brings us where?
Mr. President, there is a request to reconsider item 16 and continue it to October 3rd.
Okay, so let's vote on reconsideration, item 16. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, now we will continue that till tomorrow. The date is the 3rd.
Yes.
Okay, Madam Clerk, what we'll do at this time is we'll take up item 7. Item 7 was called special by Ms. Perry. Ms. Perry?
Rosaria. 92 years young.
Ms. Perry, we're on item 7.
Yeah, I just wanted to vote.
Yeah, he's got it.
I just want to cast my vote.
Okay, so on this item, let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
9 ayes, 4 noes.
Okay, that passes. Okay, we'll go to item 9, which was called special by Mr. John Walsh, HollywoodHighland.org.
John Walsh, or just blog Innocence of Bin Laden and John Walsh and see the hundreds of entries throughout the entire world. HollywoodHighlands.org. This concerns the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is in terrible repair. They're doing disrepair, and they're doing a poor job of fixing it. This is a star for Pepe Aguilar, long overdue. And the fact is that the minority representation on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is abysmal. In particular, it is beyond abysmal when it comes to Asian Americans. And I remember when Paul Robeson's son, 25 years ago, fought for 10 years, a black American, to get Robeson on there, and at that time there were only 5 or 6 African Americans on. And I call on all Asian Americans throughout the world to fight to get more of your stars on Hollywood Boulevard, HollywoodHighlands.org, the Walk of Fame.
Mr. Walsh, don't go too far. I'm taking up item 15 next. So members, let's vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, now we'll take up item 15.
John Walsh blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, 1.1 million successful server requests in the past 12 months. This is an item from Mr. Parks, and I still remember when People magazine a few years ago, Mr. Parks, called you the handsomest man in the world. Do you remember you on the front page? Now, I agree with this, but as you know, I have come before you previously and asked for a report on the rewards. How many people ask for the rewards? How many are denied the rewards? How many rewards are offered? How many rewards are paid? Now, you voted, and that was at least 2 years ago, for that report. We still have no report on the rewards. Are they working or are they not? And you know who's happy about this? The gangs, the ones that murder people. Because if the word is out on the street, don't listen. You're not going to get the reward, or somebody in here will tip the gangs off to who gets the reward. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, now I want to call Sean Murphy forward. We're going to take up item 17 for the official vote.
Yes, good morning, Mr. President. Item 17, I'm for this item. It's a good idea.
Thank you. On 17, let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Let's take up item 1. Mr. Murphy, come back. We have a card from Mr. Murphy, Carlos Serrano, John Walsh, Erica Diaz.
Once again, item 1 is a good idea. I'm for it.
Carlos, did you guys work this out? It's to the point where I see your face in my dreams.
I tried to get on time on $100 a month. That's the only thing I want.
Okay, here. Where are we?
Application or request for a payment plan wasn't approved by the department because according to the pilot plan we have, it doesn't meet the minimum requirements. The minimum is that the amount has to be at least $1,200, but his is $603. So the demand.
Wait. In order for you to do a payment plan, the debt has to be at a minimum of $1,200.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But his is
$600. Yes. Now, what he's willing to do is to pay us what he owes us. I thought I heard him say that he would pay $600 a month. Isn't it better for us to take his money and get this off the books? And your policy, is that voted on by this council, or is it a policy within the...
I think it's a policy within the department. They already set it up, but I'm sure it has been approved by somebody. I don't know about the
Mr.
council, but he's only ready to pay $100, not $600, which is too small.
But if he pays you $100 6 times, plus interest. Anyway, Mr. Krikorian, can you help me out?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I think in order to ensure continued payment without altering the existing policy for deferral of payments, I would like to move that we instruct the department to discontinue further enforcement on this so long as the property owner continues in making his $100 payment until this full amount is paid off. So we're not modifying the existing policy, we're just deferring continued enforcement until it's paid off.
And Mr. Rosendahl will second that. And if you could do me an additional favor and explain that to Carlos after we take this vote.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. City Attorney, can we just vote on this as amended? Okay, so on this item in particular, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay. Carlos, I think we've worked this out for you. You can have a chat with Mr. Krikorian, and he can tell you what we did. Mr. John Walsh?
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org and chairman of Anybody But Garcetti for Mayor. These are nuisance abatement costs. The city is doing a good job. Of course, the city council considers me the #1 nuisance. But in fact, you're doing an excellent job, and I ask that this meeting be end in memory of the border guard in Arizona who was murdered this morning.
Erica Diaz.
Good morning, council members, Mr. President.
This is in regards to item 1C1611 South Bedford Street in Los Angeles. My client is JP Morgan Chase Bank, who is an interested third party and not the property owner on this one. The loan that is the subject of this property is current. The property is not in foreclosure, and it is our understanding that the property owner, at least through the owner or through the owner's daughter, is bringing this property into compliance. To my understanding, the reason why it took some time to get to that point is due to some physical impairments and possibly some mental health issues with respect to the owner. But the owner's daughter is working with the city to bring the property up to code. And to my understanding, the exterior is in compliance. It looks consistent with and up to the city standards for the neighborhood, and not causing the appearance of blight in that particular neighborhood. And the only thing that we ask here is that the City Council decline to impose the late penalty in the amount of $475 due to the homeowner's impairments with bringing the property into compliance at a sooner time. Thank you.
Thank you. No speakers on the queue where it relates to this item. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay. I do not see Mr. Buscaino. Mr. Weezer, you ready? I think you held item 5.
For item 5, I believe they're working to circulate a motion.
Yes, we're circulating. We're getting some reports to circulate a motion, so we need some more time, please. Thank you.
Mr. Zine and Mr. Englander, Mutt and Jeff. Mr. Zine, item 6, I think. We're still holding that?
We can do that after marijuana.
We will go to public comment at this time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Donna Pearman, Dr. Tom Williams, Linda Romney. Donna Pearman, Dr. Tom Williams, Linda Romney.
Anyway,
please come forward.
Hello. Anyway, good to see Mr. Rosendahl. But we need you to help us to open up the video conferencing for Van Nuys, for the City Hall, for the disabled, and those like for myself. I'm a cancer survivor, breast cancer, and with 4 radiation treatments and 6 weeks of radiation. Anyway, it would help you, I believe, would help you on your 3rd term to get to people who live in the valley, work in your district but live in the valley. Anyway, I also personally feel that Bernie Parks, a very good American black, should have been chosen as the president of the city council when Eric stepped down. Because today you took it early, but Mr. Wesson usually doesn't know how to run a meeting. He runs it like King Wesson. He puts things wherever he wants to. City Council, you're wrong taking away our video conferencing for the people in the valley to speak, especially the disabled, elderly, and people with illnesses. It would be a great hardship for Miriam to come here. She would be in great pain. It would last her for 2 weeks. As I said, I'm a breast cancer survivor and went through chemotherapy and radiation. And it's a great hardship for me to come down here where the subways are very confusing, and it's hard for people who don't have TAP. Anyway, let's say it's hard for people who you want to close down our video conferencing so we can't speak on the rights of employees, and we won't be able to. You want to? Oh, it can't be already.
Thank you, Dr. Williams.
Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council.
And Father, thank God you survived. My son did not, after 10 years. But that was a year ago. Now we're looking for marrow donors. Are there any in the city of Los Angeles? You got 40,000 employees, 20,000 should be eligible for donating. Can't the medical plan for the city of Los Angeles allow for typing of, say, 20,000 employees? Wow, that would be monster donor. We need it. There are a lot of people out here, not only in LA, but California and throughout the United States, that needs donors. My son had 10 matches. They figured at least 2 or 3 would have been good, but he didn't have that chance. Others need that chance. So that's one thing. Then last Friday, we had a meeting of the Education and Neighborhood Committee. What did it do? It talked about key issues. That is the allocation of franchises for solid waste collection. On the same Friday at 5:12, there was a circulation for the Consolidated Planning Community meetings, one of which was in East LA, for all of East LA, at 6 o'clock on Monday. So we didn't even get 3 working days. We had the long weekend. Fortunately, somebody got a hold of it and circulated it. But we're being done by the mayor and his departments in the same way that call for projects, LADOT, and for Tiger. How about the Tiger projects? We need more help. Thank you.
Linda Romney.
Good morning. As you know, I attend each and every one of the Department of Water and Power Commissioners' hearings, and I was here when you last took into consideration the electric increase. We have 15 alleged representatives of the people, yet in fact we only have 4. Sadly, the San Fernando Valley, which is supposed to have 5 representatives, only has 2. I would like to thank Councilperson Perry, who brought it to this board's attention that the mandates which was misrepresented by the Department of Water and Power, because there are not penalties imposed upon those alleged mandates, which were the outstanding reason for why there was the urgency in the rate increase for electricity. I'd also like to thank Councilperson Parks, who brought forth as far as the salary, the outrageous benefits, and the pension plan for the Department of Water and Power that is composed of 28% of the amount of monies that have been requested in our rate increase. Also for Councilman Zine, who brought forth the fact that the police department pensions have taken a reduction in their amount, yet we are constantly being required to pay this outrageous amount, which is really a quadruple of our electric. Because the San Fernando Valley has 30% more heat requirement, 30% more requirement for air conditioning, and because of your vote, we will now continue the succession of the San Fernando Valley. Succession of the San Fernando Valley from Los Angeles.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker, James Shaw. James, are you here? Following James, we have, it's 3 letters, STN or SJN, I'm not sure. Lavera from North Hollywood, if you're here. That's the best I can make out the writing. And then Cheryl Mann. Good day, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Wesson. Chairman Reyes, forgive me, council members. James Shaw from the Union for Medical Cannabis Patients. Thank you, by the way, for acknowledging the after-school program. I taught for LAUSD for 10 years, and I really appreciate when we when we take care of and acknowledge public education, it's really critical for our community. I haven't seen you all in about 9 months. We've been in the trenches, and I really appreciate the difficulty in navigating the waters of federal preemption, state preemption, community concerns, and the needs of patients, including their privacy rights. And so for the last 9 months, we have been working on an ordinance, a city ordinance, that will provide you what you need to regulate patient associations and patients in Los Angeles. And I have with me 16 copies here today that are one for each of you. And you know, it was a year ago that we first presented the idea of limited immunity to City Council, and it seems to me that that is the solution because it avoids federal and state preemption, most particularly federal preemption in that case. And we've really taken great pains to create a comprehensive ordinance. We're aware of all of the elements involved in...
I need to ask you to pause for a second.
Yes.
Mr. Attorney? The subject matter on the
Mr. President,
agenda.
the speaker can speak generally about the subject matter, but cannot refer directly to agenda items during general public comment.
I'm sorry, City Attorney, I didn't realize I was referring to an agenda item.
It sounded like you were.
I'm specifically trying to avoid that.
Okay, continue then.
Thank you very much. The limited immunity ordinance is something that has been worked on for the last year. It's what we believe we've perfected here. And if I may have 30 more seconds because time was delayed in questioning. Thank you, Chairman.
If you'd like to take on...
but I'll wrap it up. So
no, wait, let's do this. Why don't we give you 10 more seconds for the interruption?
Thank you, Chairman. Basically, the ordinance is about quality versus quantity, and it really helps. It's designed to prevent litigation. It promotes and motivates patient organizations that are beneficial to the community. I hope you'll take a good look at it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker, it's SJN or STN. It's your 3 letters from North Hollywood, 5747 Lavera. Okay, we'll move on. Cheryl Mann. Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. Good day.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity. I have a concern.
Can you give us your name, please?
Sherry Mann. I'm a stakeholder in Granada Hills. I'm also on the neighborhood council. But my concern is the DWP. Most raises anyone gets in general, me being middle class, is 2% a year. How things can go up 28% a year is beyond my ken. And the other thing is, I don't know why we would have to pay for, why would the DWP buy private land outside the state, outside its own purview of boundaries, and we, at a moment in time when the economy is not that great, why we have to pay for it? And if we have to pay for it, it is a public utility, why we wouldn't share in the profit? We would also have to share in the loss, but I don't know why they're going to Utah unless it's R&D, but I think we made a mistake allowing the banks and B of A to go outside the boundaries of California. I would prefer that we have a 4% raise in the DWP, and you are their boss. You are the only boss they have. And we are the public, and it's very costly. Not that it matters to anyone, but I live in 500 square feet, and my bill was $605. I did water a lot. I live in the valley. It's a lot. So I hope you really deeply, deeply consider what the ultimate vote will be. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sean Murphy. And then Mervyn, and it's EOGNS, I believe. Evans.
Good morning, Mr. President, City Council. I want to apologize for my outburst last week. It was not towards you, City Council. It was towards, you know what I mean. I want to apologize. Hope you can accept my apology. When is this going to stop? When is this going to stop? people getting shot for no reason. I feel sorry for the family that the guy got shot. This has to stop.
Thank you.
Merv Evans here. I want to invite all of you and all the members of our city to visit mervevansvoterguide.info. It is absolutely critical in the few days that we have before absentee, or I should say absentee voting and voting by mail starts, that our public carefully review, take the time to read their election book. There's no further disgrace than having a turnout of 18, 19% in this city. We need to have a 100% turnout in this November election. Let me further remind you, I've been in touch with Senator Boxer and Senator Feinstein about Solyndra. We have had a group of political officials across this state collect money from Solyndra, collect gifts from Solyndra, and Solyndra went down. Every single politician who took any money from Solyndra, who took any money from that $535 million federal loan that was supposed to create jobs, should give that money back. And one last thing. Mr. Parks and Mr. Rosendahl, as well as the other members, good to see you, Paul Koretz. We need to stop the Los Angeles City Department of Airports in giving out political gifts to whoever. This city can't barely feed all its children, cannot provide housing for all its children. The city is in no position to be giving out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of gifts from the Department of Airports. That's inappropriate use of public funds. Let me close one other thing. You really are a scandal-free city, and you're doing very well. Thank you, Merv Evans. And Paul Koretz, give Dave Gould a
Please,
call.
let's address the council, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Our next group of speakers, Scott Crawford, Daniel Jones, and Mr. Juarez. Scott Crawford, come on up. Daniel Jones, and Mr. Juarez. Are you here? Please come on up. Come up to the mic. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Jones. Last Tuesday, the Police Commission authorized internal investigations of every single religious, political, civic action group in the city of Los Angeles. That includes the PTA. I told Chief Beck, that's a play right out of the book Mein Kampf, which I went down to the Museum of Intolerance to verify. All of this is going to be thrown away, and you're going to leave a legacy of what the Nazis did to the Jews by turning this civilization on each other. That's what you're going to do? You're not. The city of Los Angeles doesn't have the jurisdiction outside of the city of Los Angeles. The California State Militia, the California Highway Patrol, the California State Police enforce all law. They oversee, they supersede anything the Los Angeles City Gestapo does. I won't have any compunction about taking all of you, charging you with sedition and conspiracy, getting a legal conviction from the governor and an order to put a bullet right through your head, because I'll be in charge of the firing squad that puts it right through your forehead. No, it's in the Constitution of the state of California. You might want to read it.
Scott Crawford, Mr. Juarez. Scott Crawford, please come on up. And Mr. Juarez.
Good morning, Public Council. I got 3 complaints to police, Border Patrol, and Sheriff. Border Patrol sent me to walk through the desert with my green card in my pocket. I spent 7 days in jail. And I received a letter from the Barbara Boxer office. They say there is no federal violation. That was attempted murder. Police broke my door in 1978 and broke my head. Traumatized my little boy, Huerta Francisco. And when my son was around 5-year-old, the stepbrother started raping my son. And I made my report to Richard Latorre, Mike Hernandez Children's Service Juvenile Hall. Nobody listened to me. I've been waiting for justice for 24 years. And after police broke my door in 1978, sheriffs broke the door at apartment 449. They put the gun in the face of my wife. They take my wife to jail for 4 days. They took it 42 food coupons. When she come out, they only give 7 food coupons. Where is the justice? And listen to me. Do something for the homeless of the downtown because they live in between the trash. And you, council member, you got everything. When you going to do something about the homeless of downtown? That is a shame. So do something because LA police no good. Justice Department no good. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Scott Crawford. Okay, last call for Scott Crawford. Mr. Juarez, please. John Walsh. Armagnac Nordagian, and Oliver Summers.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Go to Innocence of Muslims and John Walsh and see the hundreds of entries worldwide. Mr. Rosendahl, Councilman Rosendahl, please, for your own health, I respectfully ask you to announce that you're not running for re-election. Let the new race begin. We have to have you step down. More in sorrow. Anybody but Garcetti for mayor. Next Sunday there will be a gigantic Obama fundraiser at Nokia at LA Live. The mayor of the city had his face slapped by Obama because of the mess he made of the vote when he was chairman of the convention. He has been put on the bench, and who will be here in Antonio's own backyard, who will be the keynote speaker? That's right, who now represents the Hispanics throughout the United States, and that is the mayor of the mayor of San Antonio. And our Antonio is biting the rug. He is so upset. Now, you are up here, not you, but the media, which treat Antonio the way Monica Lewinsky treated Bill Clinton, they won't talk about what's happening. Obama tomorrow, just watch at the debate tomorrow. This is what we're asking for. We want medical marijuana and Obama's crusade against marijuana to be a question on the debate. Isn't that fair? We are wasting, and the last time I took a puff of marijuana, I think Eisenhower was the president, okay? Eisenhower. Now, Obama, and they're like twins, Obama and Romney. They both have as their #1 priority closing medical marijuana shops. For shame, Obama. For shame, Romney. I'm asking the media, put this on the agenda as a question tomorrow. HollywoodHighlands.org. Anybody but Garcetti for mayor.
Thank you very much. Armagnac Nordagian, and then Oliver Summers.
Good morning, respectable city council members. Good morning, fellow Angelinos. My name is Armagnac Nordagian. I'm a liberal Democrat and human rights advocate. And as such, I ran for the seat of Los Angeles City Council this November. And actually, I want to propose to raise tax against those wealthy oil producing manufacturers, at least $2 per barrel. And in order for Angelinos to have more jobs, and in order for the city of Los Angeles to replenish its coffers, because the city of Los Angeles is on its way to financial insolvency, and will actually suffer the fate of the city of Scranton, where police officers are getting paid minimum wages. Unless you do something and increase taxes against those oil-producing manufacturers, which is supported at least by 49% of Los Angeles voters, according to failed Proposition O. And I also promised to introduce a comprehensive ban against those medical marijuana dispensaries, so it prohibits them to sell marijuana for profit. And it's actually strictly prohibited by state law. At least, I believe if you want to allow medical marijuana to dispense with harmful narcotic marijuana, I believe you should at least make sure that it wouldn't be for profit. And also, I ask city council members to cut their egregious wages of $178,000 in half and give it money to city workers.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Oliver Summers.
Ditto. Good morning. My name is Oliver Summers. I just wanted to say on behalf of the cannabis community, welcome back, Mr. Rosendahl. We were waiting for you to come back with open arms. And one of the people here, oh, there you go. Hey. You know, a big supporter of yours and friends was a man named Richard Kearns, and he used to come here and do meetings on all these cannabis meetings. He would come and he would read a poem that he would write. Now, I'm not the eloquent poet that Richard Kearns is, so I'm not going to attempt to do that. All I can tell you is that I have inspirational words written on my mirror that I look at every morning, and I just wanted to sort of share it with the group. In honor of Richard Kearns, Mr. Rosendahl sort of thing, basically it's dreams save us, dreams lift us up and transform us into something better. And on my soul, I swear that until my dream of a world where dignity, honor, and justice are the reality we all share, I will never stop fighting, ever. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Our next group of speakers, Adrian Gross, Tony Manziotti, and David Guisard. Come on up, please. Adrian Gross, Tony Manziotti, and David Guisard.
Good morning, council members. My name is Adrian Gross. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It is a tenet central to all world ideologies, yet one that has been repeatedly and unabashedly ignored by this council. My request to you today is simple. When it comes to the issue of safe, affordable, appropriate access to medical marijuana, do not be swayed by the sick, obviously cartel-motivated words of a certain council member in whose district a majority of the DEA raids just happen to be, but rather look within yourselves and remember what your true purpose in this council is, which is to serve the will of the people. And the will of the people has clearly been illustrated, and you have ignored it repeatedly. Or deny safe, affordable, appropriate access to medical marijuana and show the world, show your family, show your God that you care more about advancing your own political careers than you do about serving the people you are supposed to represent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker, please.
My name is Tony Manziotti, and I'm here to address the issue of rec and parks. But I'm also, because it's Italian American Heritage Month, I'm the former president of the Southern California Italian American Golf Association. And I have a question for the city attorney. Is it okay to ask the city attorney a question?
This is a time for public comment. There normally is not a question and answer period.
Well, because I'm not clear on a duty of the city council, and I would like to know if you could clarify it for me.
Just ask your question.
Okay. Does this body have jurisdiction over recreation and parks? Yes or no?
Can you just ask your questions and someone can come to the side?
That is my question. If this body has jurisdiction, does this body, the City Council of Los Angeles, have jurisdiction over recreations and parks in the city of Los Angeles?
Recreation and parks is part of the city family, yes.
We were told by Councilman Alarcorn that this council does not have any control over rec and park.
Okay.
He told me that on Friday, standing right here at this podium after the meeting.
Okay, the charter does provide for the commission to oversee recreation and parks, and that does have direct influence over rec and parks. So we do have a partnership between the council and the commission.
So if the council
and
was
city.
to ask the commissioners to hold off on implementing a plan that this council members have told me they want to know what the plan is, and they don't know, if this body asks them to hold off implementing a plan, would it be your belief, Mr. Wesson, that they could do this? That the council could make this request and that it would be honored?
Okay, I will refer your question to someone on the side. This is public comment. Please make your statement.
Okay.
Thank you. Our next speaker, come on up, please. Give us your name.
Hey guys, where's LeBron?
Hello, my name is David Guisar, and I wanted to, share this story with you. On August 18th of this year, 2012, on the 1200 block of East 56th Street, being Miss Perry's District 9. My brother was murdered, in an alley, and I've just kind of like been, in awe, of what happened, and just trying to be active, in bringing about justice to this murder, and just doing research. I know that in the past you have made available awards for information leading to the arrests of individuals, and I'm just sharing the story with you because yesterday I met with the detectives, and they were thinking that would be something that they were, they're actually considering, coming to you. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. Yesterday to Dr. Perry, Ms. Perry, I dropped off a general letter that I've written out to different law enforcement agencies, seeking the support in this investigation. He's a father of 4 children, hardworking man, and just happened to be in an alley, outside of a wedding, and he was shot. I committed myself to be a part of the solution. I do work in, I'm a part of the Watts Gang Task Force in Buscaino's, area. I live in Huizar's district, and I grew up in District 9, and I've done work in Parks District, with the 4th of July, all of this stuff for intervention, and then this happens to my brother, so thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry about your brother. Thank you very much. Our next speakers, Antonio Lopez and William Rosman. Come on up, please. Antonio Lopez?
Yes.
You need an interpretation?
Yes, probably I need it.
Okay, it's coming on its way.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenos días, mesa directiva.
Good morning, honorable, esteemed council members.
Vengo por las razones de que me siento muy preocupado por la certificación y que quieren pasar a otra vez lo que es la marihuana.
I'm here to state my very deep concern about the issue of the certification of the use of medicinal marijuana.
Dispensa, señor.
Ante engañar.
Si me permite, por favor. El sujeto que está tratando ahora, en este momento, está en la agenda. ¿Nos puede platicar de asuntos que no están en la agenda? What I'm saying is that he can speak to us about items that are not on the agenda.
Yo no quiero sistemas politicales engañando a las ciudades, condados y estados, señor.
I do not want the political system to deceive or to lie to the public at local, state, or federal level, sir.
Yo no quiero que esté engañando y que estén ganando dinero.
I do not want you
yo no
to...
quiero certificaciones.
I do not want you to be deceitful, and I don't want you to be earning money our backs. I do not want this type of certifications.
Porque destruir a nuestros jóvenes de colegios y universidades, poner opio en esa marihuana que hace Afganistán, ¿piensa que está bien?
Because you're destroying the students that go to community colleges and universities. Because to include opium in marijuana that comes from Afghanistan, that's destroying our children's lives. Do you think that's the correct thing to do?
Yo quiero que corran a todos los maestros y gente que esté allí usando marihuana.
I want all the teachers and everyone to be fired. Everyone who's using of the teachers who's using marijuana.
Y también quiero que vayan a estudiar por un año los que dieron el certificado, sistemas de enfermerías y doctores. Al mismo tiempo quiero que sean confiscados.
Also, I would like all those people who signed the certification to go study, all the nursing schools and all the doctors who signed the certification to go study further.
Quiero que sean confiscadas todas las propiedades, los que tengan estas ramas de sistemas capitalistas y sean vendidas propias.
I would like all the properties to be confiscating, all the properties of the sources that sell this type of product.
Y ese dinero sea para carreteras y sea para pagar a los maestros y beneficios de las ciudades y los condados y el estado.
I want that money to be used to pay for infrastructure improvements and for other needs that the city and the state need.
Yo no quiero sistemas coloniales de Cristóbal como crisis y pobrezas. I do
not want colonialism type systems like Christopher Columbus in our states.
Porque eso es lo que vino Al Capone a tratar de conquistar nuestro sistema americano.
Because that's what Al Capone came for, to try to conquer our American system.
Con cocaína, de Italia, con cocaína, el sistema de...
Bringing cocaine from Italy to our country.
Con cocaína en sistemas de invadir impuestos, alcohol, drogas al sistema americano. Piensa que está bien allí en una silla.
Permítame. Bringing cocaine and using alcohol and selling alcohol, doing prohibition so that they can invade our nation and corrupt our system more. Do you think
señor.
Están robando?
Muchas gracias. Okay. Próximo. Next speaker, William Rosen. Please, sir. William Rosman, please come on up, sir.
Who are you calling? William who? I'm William Rasmussen.
That's
okay.
Yes, please.
I'm William Rasmussen, and it's in black and white. It's real easy to say. Anyway, I'm a medical marijuana patient. I'm an AIDS patient, and I use medical marijuana. And I want to stay away from the agenda items. But I want to tell you, when I came here today, I felt pretty strong, and I feel when I hear you guys talk about it. You know, I feel strong and passionate about issues, and I get here today, and I feel weak at the knees, and I feel intimidated, and that's how I feel. That you guys are running the laws like zigzaggedy, you know, like you're making it up as we go along, and I really think that the caregivers, my caregivers and patients as well, you know, deserve a little bit more consideration. You know, we're constituents, and I don't have a rap sheet. You know, 6 of my friends that are with me today, well, they're dead now. You know, they're dead and buried. Well, they didn't get buried. They couldn't afford it. You know, a lot of their families cut them off. So, you know, we know what it's like to struggle, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, people who are vulnerable should be taken care of a little bit easier, a little bit more. That's what I do. I reach out to somebody who I see is on the ground, and I try to help them get up, you know. And anyway, I just really appeal to you guys to please consider your consciences, and please be considerate about patients and caregivers as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Weezer, where are we on I think you had item 5.
You ready?
And Mr. Englander and Zine, if you're ready on 6, let me know.
There's some amendments coming in that I haven't seen them circulated yet. Are they?
You're still working on it?
No, we got many motions been circulated. It should have been circulated to the chamber.
and that we'd like to approve it with the amended motions. If Mr. Engler doesn't have one, we can get one to him, please.
It has not been circulated.
It's
I've
not been
informed.
circulated yet.
Pardon me?
Mr. Weezer, are you not ready either?
No, we're not ready either.
Okay, then this is, members, this is what we're going to do. We will go into closed session to deal with item 19, and when we come out, we'll vote out here, I believe, and we might have some more discussion out here. But what I'm going to ask the sergeants to do now is to clear the council chamber. We have to go in the back? Hold on one second. So we have to recess this meeting. No, I know what I want to do. Just help me do what I want to do, which is to recess this meeting, go into the special meeting, and call a roll for the special meeting. Madam Clerk?
Are we doing it in here or someplace else?
We're going to do the closed session in here.
We can kick everybody out. We want it back.
Alarcon, Buscaino, Cardenas, Englander, Garcetti, Weezer, Carrasco, Corcoran, Labange, Parks, Perry, Reyes, Rosendahl, Zine, Wesson, 13 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, sergeants, if you'd clear the chambers.
Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to have a 15-minute public hearing, 1 minute per speaker on the item that is before this council. I want to start off with Sarah Armstrong, Doug Haynes, and Sean Murphy, if he's here. Yes, go right ahead.
Ready?
Go right
Okay.
ahead.
My name is Sarah Armstrong. I'm the legal liaison for the Greater Los Angeles Collective Alliance, which since 2006 has worked with you to bring forward sensible regulations. Today, we urge you in the strongest possible terms to repeal the ban. 49,000 voters, most of them just plain citizens whose signatures were collected in front of places like Walmart, have sent a very clear message. They need safe access for the sick and dying of Los Angeles, and they need you to enact an ordinance that will protect neighborhoods and patients as well. I hope that as you go into closed session today and as you consider this matter, that you will repeal the ban and work with Jane to bring forth a safe, sane ordinance that will both protect the sick and dying, the neighborhood businesses, and the residences nearby. I know that you can do this. Please think of those who are so vulnerable and cannot be here today and need you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Doug Haynes, followed by Sean Murphy. Looks like James Shaw. Mr. Shaw, if you're here, please come forward. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Doug Haynes. I'm with East Hollywood Neighborhood Council, and really the victims of this are our communities. Our neighborhood council and our other neighborhood councils all joined together in supporting the ban, and we would support having it go to the voters. And I just want to tell you, a month ago, I came across 3 children on their way to elementary school, ranging from ages 9 to approximately 11, and they had a crack pipe and a lighter and pot. And I have children in my neighborhood who are being sent to rehab by their parents, 15-year-olds. And when you're 15, the only way to obtain marijuana is either stealing it or becoming a drug dealer yourself to other kids who steal it from their parents to get the money. So this is the problem. That's really what we're confronting. It's not about medicine. It's about drugs and money. And I hope that this city council will respect the neighborhood councils and really approach the issue in a way that lets the voters decide instead of just listening to the voices of people here today.
Thank you. James Shaw, William McKenzie Smith.
Thank
Go right
you,
ahead.
Chairperson, council members. James Shaw from the Union for Medical Cannabis Patients. We did file a CEQA challenge to the ban ordinance a few weeks ago, as is our standard practice with ordinances that really bring up a challenge to environmental and community concerns. And I imagine there's a chance that this ordinance will be repealed, and that's the reason why we took the last 9 months in developing the ordinance that I submitted to you earlier. So I hope in your process that you will understand our need to file a lawsuit to keep everyone honest about what's really practically happening with medical cannabis patient associations, and recognize that we put a lot of effort into that ordinance, and I think it could help out a lot. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. William McKenzie Smith, Yami Bolanos, Oliver Summers. I called 3 names. I only see 1 person. Then come go.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and City Council members. My name is William McKenzie Smith, and I'm a patient with Cornerstone Research Collective in Eagle Rock. I have skin cancer, which I am treating topically with cannabis oil. I've been amazed by how well the oil is working, and I have read many testimonials from patients saying that this oil has cured them of their internal cancer. I think that it is vitally important that our City Council repeal the ban on cooperatives and collectives and allow us safe access to this medicine. Based on the large number of signatures that were collected in opposition, the people of Los Angeles do not want a ban and are now looking to you to create a new audience for medical cannabis in this city. Many of us will be touched by cancer, whether it be personally or someone close to us. If the dispensaries are closed in Los Angeles, we will be forced to either grow the medicine ourselves or buy it on the black market. On behalf of those that are currently treating illnesses with cannabis and those that will do so in the future, I would urge our city leaders to support a policy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yami Bolanos, Oliver Summers.
Thank you, Council, for allowing us to speak. I'm Oliver Summers, and I'm speaking on behalf of Yami Bolanos as well, that we're going to decline speaking at this time. Thank you very much.
Arminit Norajanian, Donna Pierman, Linda Leak.
Respectable City Council members, dear fellow Angelinos, I ask you, City Council members, not to repeal this comprehensive ban against so-called medical marijuana dispensaries, as 56% of Californians rejected Proposition M, rejected legalization of marijuana, actually by the majority of votes. I believe that the majority of Californians, therefore, oppose legalization of marijuana, and you go against the will of majority of your own voters if you repeal this comprehensive ban against so-called medical marijuana dispensaries. And in the second, medical so-called harmful narcotic marijuana, by the way, is illegal under federal law. And I believe that it's just a matter of time before federal government manages to close down all those so-called medical marijuana dispensaries and stop dope dealing in the city of Los Angeles. And I believe it's actually state law prohibits making any profits while having those dispensaries, except maybe membership.
Thank you. Thank you. Donna Pierman and Linda Leak.
Yeah, I think the idea of a ban is a very wrong idea, because this is an area where we can get revenue. You're always talking about having to get revenue. This is a spot where we can figure out a way for these people to be able to, collectives to be able to be giving a little more of their money that they're getting from the patients and giving it over to the city of Los Angeles. And there's a lot of people that need marijuana, it looks like, that are very ill, people with cancers, people with are in wheelchairs, and it seems like the very wrong way to go for it's just a complete ban. Just like it was wrong to close down our video conferencing and Van Nuys. So we don't want to do this. Let's find a way to get revenue. You know, and then that will get maybe rid of the ones who don't, or not shouldn't have marijuana, and maybe just get more of the ones who really need.
Thank you. Thank you. Lisa Caller, John Walsh, Matt Dowd, and Linda Leak. Are you here, Linda Leak? Are you Miss Caller? Linda Leak, you're not speaking?
Yes, I'm Lisa Kaler.
Okay.
I decline to speak. Thank you.
All right. John Walsh, followed by Matt Dowd, followed by Adrian Gross.
The whole world is watching. President Obama and your opponent, Mitt Romney. We want this on the agenda tomorrow. We must end the senseless war against drugs. For the family of the border guard in Bisbee, Arizona, who was murdered yesterday. Does Obama give a damn? I don't know. Does Romney give a damn? I don't know. Does the family of that border guard? Let's decriminalize marijuana so that these criminals will not keep killing us. And what do you want to do here? You want to put these people in jail for medical marijuana. For shame. You know why they call it dope? Because it's named after the LA City Council. Do you know why it's called dope? Because it's named after the President of the United States. Do you know why it's called dope? Because it's named after
Mr.
Mitt
Walsh.
Romney.
Thank you. Okay. Matt Dowd, Adrian Gross, Dr. Tom Williams.
All right, thank you, City Council. You notice I haven't been down here for a while because I'm just tired of all the shenanigans. There's no more of those. It's all on the record. But what I want to say is that You know, these are people, Bill Rosendahl knows this, these are people who do need help. Whereas the city attorneys are running around with this performer lawsuit still for 2 years after an injunction. So the point is, I just hope you don't make the same mistake that you're letting the attorneys make with this one. Because the performer one at Venice Beach, it's going to run to like $2 million.
Mr. President, he's not
just let him finish. Go on, Matt.
Thank you. And I hope, for the sake of the people who need help, that you don't run around with the attorneys letting them all charge hundreds and hundreds of dollars an hour to go through all these rings and hoops just to end up where you could be tomorrow.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Now, Adrian, Dr. Tom Williams. Dr. Tom Williams, I have 2 cards on you, but you only get to speak once. And William Robuson. Yes.
Adrian Gross. So I'd just like to address a couple of things. I find it interesting that the public speakers, in favor of supporting the current ban, they have interesting things to say, and they kind of reflect the disrationality of this council. The man earlier saw a child with a crack pipe, and he chose to comment on the fact that that child had marijuana on him. Now that kind of reflects, the way the city council thinks about these things. And further, everyone comes here to speak about the children, the children, the children. Well, I believe that medical marijuana will be better for the children because rather than putting them on antidepressants that give them suicidal thoughts, rather than ruining them for military careers by putting them on Ritalin. I'm not sure if you know that, but when they're on Ritalin, they can no longer have a military career. But, medical marijuana actually wouldn't do that. Please disappoint me today and vote to repeal the ban. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Williams.
Dr. Tom Williams, LA 32 Neighborhood Council. Marijuana? Yes. My son used it for at least 3 years while he was undergoing chemotherapy. The past governor of the British colony, Kenya, was also known as Lord Bang. By the way, that's the Indian word for marijuana. In India, marijuana is legal. You can buy it from any place that you really want to use it. It is used in one of the celebration drinks during the Indian New Year. It's called Bang. Here in Los Angeles, you also have shops called Shisha, which is the Arabic for hashisha or hashish. So it has been used widely over the world without adverse effect. Don't change what we have right now.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Thank you. Mr. Zine, the general public comment or public comment on this item is now closed. Mr. Zine.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the council repeal ordinance number 182190, and that with that removal of that ordinance 182190, we will then move forward and repeal the ordinance. I need a second on that.
Mr. Labange, second.
Mr. Rosendahl, Mr. Labange.
And Mr. Rosendahl seconds that. Okay, Mr. Huizar.
Thank you, Mr. President. And, part of our jobs as legislators is to ensure that we balance different stakeholders' interests and different interests that are in our community. And I would say that right now, 2 of those interests that I think a majority of this council has always supported is to ensure that our neighborhoods are safe, that we work to lessen the impacts, negative impacts that may cause to increase criminal activity. And on the other hand, we want to make sure that we provide access to medical marijuana for patients who truly need it. I would say that in the city of Los Angeles right now, it is dangerous on the side of access at the expense of protecting some of our local neighborhoods. We are not able to enforce our own laws. In places like Eagle Rock, we continue to have disruptions in our local schools, young people having access to medical marijuana, walking down the street openly and blatantly smoking it while young people are walking to the park. We need to strike a better balance. We tried that. It didn't work. Then we went to a ban, and now we have this challenge. I would say that the real solution to all this is to ask our state legislature to fix their broken state laws. I want to thank Council President Herb Wesson, Mitch Englander, and others for us putting forward item number 18, which asks the legislature to do just that. And we're not going to only ask the legislature to do just that, but I think we have to be active, because if we're not active in making sure something happens up there, we're going to continue to chase our tail and not find a solution. No matter what we do today, whether we repeal this ban or not, we're always going to have problems with medical marijuana dispensaries in the city of Los Angeles because we have a broken state law. Now, what is that broken state law? What we should have is that anybody who wants a recommendation, for them to show a history of an illness, to show that there's a real illness that you have, and you have a history of that. We should also only have a limited number of illnesses. In Oregon, you have a limited number of illnesses that have been scientifically proven that you need medical marijuana for. Here, it's endless for practically anything. So today, I think we should commit ourselves, if we pass number 18, that we need the state legislature to fix their laws. Otherwise, we will continue to do things here and not find a solution, whether we repeal this or not. So, colleagues, I'm going to stick with my proposal initially to ban dispensaries. I think they are sales, which are illegal in either state or federal law. Most of these are dominated by a market of recreational users and profiteers. This dispensary model was never contemplated under state law, but we will continue this cat and mouse game until the state legislature fixes their broken state law. And before I end, Mr. President, I want to just give a big welcome to our colleague, Mr. Rosenthal. Thank you for being here today, Mr. Rosenthal.
Mr. Koretz.
Well, it's interesting because I actually agreed with most of what Mr. Huizar said, even though we disagree on the approach. I do think we need to respect the will of the voters in passing Prop 215. And I ask that we continue the work in the direction of an ordinance that bans most but not all dispensaries, an approach that balances the two needs that Mr. Huizar spoke of, to protect our neighborhoods and to provide access to legitimate patients, such as Mr. Rosendahl, who we're happy to see here with us. We know that since July, the city attorney has worked on such an ordinance, and I have it here. We know we have a CEQA analysis draft, and we know that there aren't any more good excuses, and that we can have this heard on a planning commission agenda on October 25th, and we could have this before the council at the beginning of November. I believe that's the appropriate approach to take. Legally, it appears that almost nothing we do is a surefire approach, but I think the surefire least positive approach is to have a ban, but have it on hold in March, have it fail in March, and basically be back where we started after a lot of wasted effort and attention to deal with that issue on the ballot. So on this one, I ask that we repeal this measure and then that we take a more appropriate and balanced approach.
So you're saying that you're supportive of Mr. Zine's request earlier?
Yes, I certainly am.
Okay, Mr. Rosendahl.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It's a very emotional moment for me. 10 years ago, I came down with diabetes. My internist, a general practitioner at St. John's, gave me a prescription for marijuana. I said, why? He says, because it'll help with the the problem you have with your feet, the neuropathy in your feet. I kind of laughed at him. I didn't know what to do with this prescription at that point, but I followed his rules, which was to take it occasionally at night when the pain is too much. Not on a regular basis, but to have that option when my feet would go into that neuropathy. Only at night, before I would go to bed. I ran a big company at that time, 2,700 employees. And all of a sudden, he calls me and says, you got diabetes, come see me. Unfortunately, he prescribed 3 drugs. One turned out to be Actos. It appears Actos is the cause of the ureter cancer that I now suffer with. Many of you know a couple of months ago, on the 20th of July, I had an MRI that was very, very serious. And the bottom line on that was they didn't give me much time to live. And I said, no. I'm not ready to go. I certainly want to live a long time. So the ACT test might have had a role. So I say to anybody who has diabetes, who's been in compliance like I have, stop taking Actos and find out if that gave you ureter cancer. Now, let me get a little more calmer on this issue. Of course I'm here today. We gotta vote to repeal the gentle ban. Where does anybody go, even a councilman, go to get his medical marijuana? I was the guy who did Prop 215 in my studio. I had the pros and the cons and the ups and the downs. I did that in 1996. When I met with Kamala Harris, the Attorney General of the state, the other day, she said the problem is in the details. There are no details. The state legislature has to come up with details so we know how to do it properly. In the meantime, we have maybe 100, I don't know exactly, that have been playing by the rules, the distances we set up, the neighborhoods that make sense. Frankly, I'm upset that Obama, and I happen to agree with John Walsh, gave everybody a sense they could have it. Then the Mexican mafia, the Armenian mafia, and I guess there's a third mafia now, the Russian mafia, have jumped in to push peddle their crap and cause even more problems. So, if I can't get marijuana, and this is medically prescribed, what do I do? And what do all the people who have health issues, who have been relying on it? And frankly, Obama did a disservice when he turned around and said, oh, well, it's okay. Then they popped up. Then he brings in his attorneys and starts closing them. So he didn't get his message straight with himself. And I don't know where Romney is, but I can say this very clearly. They both were wrong in what they did. They helped put us in this situation here. To clear it up, let's authorize whatever that number was that are grandfathered into this, and take a deep breath and see what the state will do. And if we can get the state to have some legislators that will help us with the details, we can deal with it at another date. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Rosendahl. Thank you. Mr. Reyes.
You know, I stand in support of the repeal, and I think my colleague, my seatmate, has been very eloquent as to why. But what weighs heavy in my mind is that no matter what we do, the federal government will still come in and shut them down. No matter what we say, the federal government will continue to close them down. I, quite frankly, voted for the ban initially because of the lawlessness, the crime, the impact in my district. I watched youngsters go into a shop, buy what they bought, and go to the local donut shop, take out the baggies, and start rolling cigarettes right there in public, in broad daylight, at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So it has gotten out of hand. We've had innocent people die, killed in our streets, so we need to have controls. I stand here to support repealing this ban because I see people, individuals, human beings, council colleagues who are suffering, who are dying, who need this medicine. But the harshness of our reality is the federal government, the drug agents, all the enforcement at the federal level will continue to shut them down. So it's a very confusing time for everyone. Those who choose to continue to open up for the right reasons are at risk. And those who are doing it out of gamemanship, out of opportunism, out of profit, at the cost of our lives and public safety community, will also be at risk. But I stand here to support the ban.
Mr. Englander.
Thank you. First, let me welcome
our colleague Bill Rosendahl back to the Horseshoe. It's good to have you here, and feel your passion as well on this issue and any other issue. And I want to thank you for coming here today and for everything that you do as well. I'm with you. I think this thing has gotten so out of hand and so complicated and so convoluted and so messed up. And in talking to several folks and colleagues and others in the community, I'll be honest with you, I don't think it was ever anybody's intention to have this thing tangled in the way it is with all the legal challenges that we're facing. And I don't think it was the voters' intention to have a proliferation of these and to have one on every corner. Many of these, and in fact, you'd mentioned, Mr. Rosendahl, that about 100 of these have been good operators. It's been unfortunate that 700 or 800 haven't been, or whatever those numbers are. And it's the majority that have ruined it for the minority of these operators. And the fact is, that makes it more difficult for patients and those in pain to get the medicine they think help, because the others are taking advantage, which is really unfortunate. So where does it leave us today? Well, I support whatever it is to unwind this, and if that means approving a repeal of the only thing we currently have on the books, which is a general ban, I'm all for it. Going to Sacramento, which I was happy to work on that legislation as well, and the resolution, we need to do that and get clarity on exactly where we stand. I'm willing to do that as well. We need to work with people. There's a lot of people that are impacted, whether it's those who need it or the communities that don't want it. And so we need to find that balance, and we need to do it pretty quickly. So that's where I'm at with it. With that, though, where it leaves us at the end of the day, no matter what, is clear. And that is that we don't have then anything really on the books. There's no enumerated use. I would plan on dealing with that as well. But at the same time, we don't give up on it. So we go to Sacramento, we work with the federal government, we look at all of these avenues to make it clear on how, if at all, we're going to deal with these things. So I'm in support of the referendum to repeal the soft ban, get down to the bottom of this as quickly as possible, and enforce the current laws we do have on the books to make sure that those bad operators are driven out of our city once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Englander. Okay, if we can keep it quiet now. Okay, there are no more speakers in the queue. Madam Clerk, it's time to vote. Where's my city attorney? Do I have to tape you to your seat, Dion? Okay, so I want to say that Mr. Zine's motion is before us. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay. No, Zine is, yeah. Let us, on that item, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes, 2 noes. The ordinance is held over for a second read for 1 week.
Is there any other items that are before us?
Not in the special meeting, Mr. President. Do you wish to adjourn the special meeting and return to the regular?
Yes, let's adjourn. Let's go to the regular meeting. Mr. Weezar, if we could deal with your item 5.
Now, Mr. President.
Yeah, okay, we'll do. Okay, we'll have a 10-minute public hearing on 18. 1 minute each. Yes, Mr. Labange.
Could the city attorney just explain what the council did so everyone knows exactly what they did?
Go right ahead, Mr. City Attorney.
Council.
I think Mr. Labange wants you to explain it to him, but go right ahead.
Council preliminarily voted to repeal what's known as the gentle ban, and it was an 11-2 vote. Pursuant to council rules, that kicks over to next week for a second reading, at which point 8 votes would be required.
Okay, like I said, 10 minutes, 1 minute each. We've got Scott Crawford, Donna Pearman, Linda Romney, Sarah Armstrong, James Shaw. I think it's Miss Conti. I always have problems with your name, and I don't want to mispronounce it again. So I'm going to let you come up and pronounce it. Miss Armstrong, correct? When I call your name, get in line. Miss Armstrong, right?
Yes,
Go right
sir.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Last year, a coalition of medical marijuana activists attempted to pass legislation that would have solved many of your problems in Sacramento. It was called AB 2312, and we plan to go back next year with more ideas for regulation and legislation. I would urge all of you to work with GLADCA on this and to include us as your partner in this effort. When you regulate at the state level, there are many, many, many special interests, often involving money, and it takes a united will to achieve what you've stated today that you want to do. Please feel free to call on GLADCA at any time for help, and we will keep you advised of what we are doing in Sacramento. I want to thank Bill Rosenthal for his great courage in coming today. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. And to all of you who came to the conclusion today that the sick and dying take precedence over many other things and deserve your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, I'm calling Scott Crawford, Donna Pearman, Linda Romney, James Snow. Go right ahead.
DJ Kuti, Central Hollywood. Thank you very much for repealing the ban, and much love for Mr. Rosendahl and all of his hard work. As you're taking this approach with the state legislature, I think it's important to consider some things. One, you don't want to infringe on the patient-doctor relationship. Doctors do have a lot of discretion in recommending medicines. As we know, Rogaine now can be approved for, I believe, blood pressure. Even though it was originally used for one thing, it can now be used for something else. Also want to remind you, in the lawsuit where San Diego Normal and the state of California in a lawsuit, it was determined in that lawsuit that California law did not interfere with federal law when it came to the Controlled Substances Act. And I know it's going to be a real tough process because, again, what you're up against is the fact that Proposition 215 is a voter initiative, and we've had lawsuits that have tried to clarify and provide some limits, and they've been greatly challenged, and those patients who've challenged have won. So I thank you very much for taking this issue, and I wish the city of Los Angeles a lot of luck in moving forward.
Walsh,
Thank you.
John Walsh, Yami Balonis, Oliver Summers.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Thank you, City Council. You did the right thing. As I said before, the last time I tried marijuana, Eisenhower was president of the United States. I tried it once. I didn't like it. That's the same reason I have no children. I tried that once. I didn't like that either. Right now, you're taking this whole thing and putting it in the lap of Jerry Brown, the governor and the state legislature, where it belongs. And you know what Jerry Brown should do? He should put it in the lap of the President of the United States, who spends all his time trying to close medical marijuana. There are millions of us who want to vote for you, Mr. Obama. There are millions of us who despise your opponent and everything he stands for, but you are trying again and again to throw us into the arms of Mitt Romney. Do the right thing, President of the United States, and stop the raids on medical marijuana.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Yami, followed by Oliver Summers and Lisa Caller. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, City Council. Thank you so much for repealing this ban. My name is Yamile Bolaños. I am the president of the Greater Los Angeles Collectives Alliance, one part of the coalition that was successful in putting this referendum together. Today we thank you for repealing the ban, but you guys aren't done. You need to move forward with the limited immunity so that the confusion ends in the city. The patients have to be feeling safe when they go to get their safe access, and they need to know what places that they can visit safely. So you guys aren't done. Please go ahead with the limited immunity as soon as possible. And thank you so much for finally doing the right thing for the patients of the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Oliver Summers. I am with GLADCA. I am also with UFCW and ASA. OMG, right? So anyway, thank you so much for doing all this today. We really appreciate it. And I just wanted to reiterate Sarah Armstrong's statements of saying, please approached GLACA and UFCW and ASA to discuss this. For 6 years, I've been coming up here and advocating that we should be working together and not as two separate teams trying to find a middle ground. If we work together, all these lawsuits are going to stop. Everything's going to get back to normal. We'll have nice and clean neighborhoods again. We'll be having crime-free. All of those things that you want is what we want. So please, let's work together. Thank you very much.
Okay, Lisa Keller, Armenic Norjanian, Matt Dowd.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Lisa Kaler. I am a patient as well as an advocate for medical cannabis. Recently, my stepmother was diagnosed with breast cancer about 2 months ago. She had to undergo chemotherapy as well as radiation. She never used medical cannabis in her life, and just recently she came to me and said, listen, I think this is something that I need to try in order to see if I can feel better on a daily basis, and it's working for her. And I appreciate, thank you for your support here today, and I look forward to some reasonable regulations in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Armenic Norjanian, followed by Matt Dowd, followed by, I think that's Antonio Lopez. Go right ahead.
Good morning. Good afternoon. City Council member. Good afternoon, fellow Angelinos. My name is Armenak Nujian, and I am actually a liberal democrat, human rights advocate. I believe that I ask City Council members to adopt Resolution 18, because Resolution 18 specifies that those dispensaries, so-called medical marijuana dispensaries, are not immunized from state law criminal prosecution. And they shouldn't make any profit none whatsoever, because it's strictly prohibited by state law. And I believe that this resolution will help stop dope dealing and illegal sales of harmful narcotic marijuana. And I also believe that by repealing the ban on harmful narcotic marijuana, actually sends the wrong message to the public, because the majority of Californian public, the majority of Angelinos will definitely oppose that illegal sales of so-called medical marijuana, because medical marijuana is a harmful narcotic.
Thank you. Matt Dowd, maybe Antonio Lopez. We need translation. Is our translator here?
Yes, I need translation.
She can do it from her chair. You're going to do it. She's going to do it from the chair. Go right ahead. Somebody help me out here. Indicate.
Okay. La música es nacional.
The music is national and international.
This is a new one. Our translator, could you inform the gentleman that music is not...
Señor, con mucho respeto, no se permite música en este segmento.
Por favor, Afganistán, no mandes más opio.
Please,
Por
Afghanistan,
favor,
do not send
Italia,
more opium to the United
no mandes
States.
más
Italy, do
cocaína.
not send more
Por
cocaine
favor,
to our nation, please.
Diferentes países
Different
no
countries throughout
enhierven
the world do
a
not
nuestros
poison
hijos
our children,
de colegios y
our children
universidades.
who go to
Hay
community
un
colleges and
virus
universities.
que es opio que el
There's a
hemorray
virus called
no lo han
Thank you.
podido detectar.
Thank you,
That
sir.
the MRIs have not been able to detect it.
Okay.
Gracias, señor.
All right, thank you.
Muchas gracias.
There are no more speakers on the queue. So, Madam Clerk, let's open the roll on this. In fact, now you're disrupting the meeting. Help him find his way to put that harmonica in his pocket. Okay, can we, on this item, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote?
13 ayes.
Okay. Would somebody find Mr. Labange for me? All righty, Mr. Zine. Mr. Weezer.
If we could reconsider number 18, we have to add some language.
We sure did. Okay, so let's vote to reconsider.
Yeah.
Let's open the roll
technical.
on
Nothing
reconsideration.
substantive.
on 18. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, now, Mr. Weezer, add the language, and then we'll vote on it again.
We could add some language that says support or sponsor legislation in the 2013-2014 state legislative program to work on this matter. It's just.
Okay, thank you. On this item, let's vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, now, Mr. Weezer, are we ready with item 5?
Yes, sir. Item 5, we've circulated an amendment. It's a technical amendment to a community facilities district that we are creating in downtown Los Angeles. That item has been, the amendment has been circulated. 5A.
Yeah, Madam Clerk, could you, we're still on 5 right now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I would ask that we approve this item as amended.
Approve as amended. All right, there's no speakers on the queue. As amended, we need to read the amendment into the, we would circulate it, Mr. Weezer?
Yes. It's
been okay, circulate. Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. No speakers on the queue. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
All right, next item, please.
Item 6, amending motion 6A has been circulated.
Amending motion 6A. Mr. Zine has to tweak the amendment versus the city attorney. Could we hold that item and take anything else up right now? Madam Clerk?
Well, for item 8, no action is taken, no action is required in as much as action has been taken relative to this matter under item 19.
All right, so item 8, we're receiving and file?
No action is required, Mr.
No
President.
action required. And then what's the next item?
And that leaves item 6. Call
Item
for Mr.
6.
Zine.
Sergeant, could you get Mr. Zine, please? Sergeant, would you get Mr. Zine? We're holding for item 6. We're holding for Mr. Zine at this moment. Mr. City Attorney, do you have any other advice on this item?
I advise council members to stay here until we finish the agenda.
That's correct, but on this issue here. Sergeant, could you check for Mr. Zine, please? Mr. Zine is here. Thank you, Sergeants, for Mr. Zine. Thank you.
Number 6, Mr. Chair, what we'd like to do is strike number 2 on that motion that was submitted and add a third, the feasibility of providing incentive to operators who attain good operator status and remit the appropriate amount of park and occupation tax to the city. We'd like to add that number 3 and strike number 2 on the matter regarding parking lot operators.
Mr. City Attorney.
And just for clarification, the number 3 would be as a report back and not into this ordinance.
That's correct.
That's correct. Very good. And that is in writing, Mr. Zine? Do we have it in writing for our city clerk?
Pardon me, Mr. LeBonge?
Is that in writing?
It's in writing. It's been submitted.
Madam City Clerk, you're okay with it?
I need it.
Yes, I'm fine, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, so with that being said, that has been placed before us. We have no speakers on the queue.
1 minute.
Hold on one
Mr.
moment,
LeBonge,
please.
we take a moment before we take the vote on this matter. Again, this deals with the parking lot operators in the city of Los Angeles.
This is work that you've done in the ethic committee.
So the proofread operator comes out. Yes.
Great. Mr. Krikorian's fine with it. Thank you. So we can have the vote now?
All right.
Thank you.
Any no speakers on the queue? Let's open the roll.
Thank you.
Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
13 ayes. Next item, please.
Council has motions for posting and referral.
So ordered.
That clears the desk, Mr.
desk. Any announcements, members? No announcements at this time. Let's call for adjourning motions. Please all rise for adjourning motions on this meeting date. Mr. Weezer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a few adjourning motions, and the first is I would ask that we adjourn in the memory of Lawrence Paul Singleton from our city family. He was born on March 5th, 1955, to Annabelle and Lawrence Singleton, and is the sixth of 10 children. Lawrence, more affectionately known as Yaya, graduated from Roosevelt High School in Boyle Heights. He played for the Rough Riders basketball team all 3 years, and he was the athletic star in that team. In high school, he lived and breathed basketball so much that his passion afforded him the opportunity to attend East Los Angeles College and play as a forward from 1973 to 1975. He later attended Northridge University, where he played for the Matadors, Division II basketball team, and would eventually be crowned All-American. His team finished with a 22-7 record and won the CCAA Northridge University. They won the title in both 1977 and 1978. He eventually graduated with a bachelor's degree in physical education. Because basketball had become such an integral part of Yaya's life, after he finished his professional career, he decided to go back to where it all began to him and coach the sports at the 4th Street Gym in Los Angeles. He also worked at the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles for 10 years. Throughout it all, Yaya never lost track of his extended family, the Aliso Pico family, where he was the sitting president for the Communities Committee up until his passing. He would attend the annual picnic with pride, knowing he was a product of that community. He leaves behind 6 children, and he also has a number of grandchildren, and he will be missed by all in the city family. Second, I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Margarita Solorzano Saldaña. She was born in June 24th, 1924 in Ayoyo, El Chico, Jalisco, Mexico. She came to the United States in 1960 and made a home for her 5 children in the East Los Angeles neighborhood of Boyle Heights. Margarita was a proud citizen, a loving mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and a woman of tremendous faith. She was a very tenacious woman and fought for what is right. When Catholic Youth Organization was threatened to close, she took action. She partnered with faith leaders, enlisted her neighbors, and raised funds to keep it open. As a senior, Margarita still relished the opportunity to help others. She found a new calling at her local senior facility where she lived. She lobbied AltaMed management to allow for a daily prayer session, a monthly mass, and for the celebration of traditional Mexican festivities. In 2006, the County of Los Angeles publicly recognized Margarita for her outstanding volunteerism at its annual Older Americans Recognition Day. Her services are Thursday, September 27th at White Memorial Hospital. She's survived by her 5 children, 12 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. Finally, I ask that we adjourn in memory of Jimmy Hughes, Jr. He was born in Los Angeles on September 28, 1975, and died on September 14th. He would have turned 37 years old last week. He passed away in a car accident on his way to doing what he enjoyed the most, which was working for the Department of Recreation and Parks for the City of Los Angeles. Mr. Hughes worked for the Department of Rec and Parks for 16 years and was assigned to installing playgrounds and fitness zones in Council's Districts 1, 13, and 14. Mr. Hughes was an active parent, and his children meant the world to him. He was an artist and loved painting pictures for his kids. He was often seen at his children's school, Dahlia Heights Elementary, with his youngest son, Nathan, on his shoulders, and 2 children on either side, all of them holding hands. Mr. Hughes lived in Eagle Rock and is survived by 5 children, Nathan, Deanna, Alisa, Jimmy, and Marina.
Thank you, all members on that fine employee. Members over here. Members, I'd like to ask we adjourn in memory of Andy Williams, the great American singer, his signature song, Moon Rivers. He's survived by his wife, Deborah, and his 3 children and brothers, as well as many, many grandchildren. Andy Williams worked a lot in Los Angeles, and he should be remembered as one of those great singers who make people feel good. We can think of his song, Moon River, right now. Also, on a very tragic note, as Andy did live a good life and a long life to 84, but a young person, a cadet Ryan S. Kirby, a cadet with our Los Angeles Fire Department, a non-department accident took his life on the 25th of September. Cadet Ryan Kirby also worked on Crew 3, which is posted out of Station 88 in the Sherman Oaks area. He worked recently on the fires at the Getty Fire, where he was committed to a path of becoming a firefighter. He's survived by his parents, James and Debbie Kirby, and family and friends, and the members of Crew 3, which is a organization of cadets similar to what the Explorers were. It was an accident, a motorcycle accident that claimed his life. So this city council adjourned in memory of Brian S. Kirby, a cadet with the Los Angeles Fire Department. All members. So this concludes our meeting. I ask one item that we go forth on the item for the Department of Water and Power forthwith. What was that number? That item will be called out, clerk, for 7, forthwith on 7. Thank you all. Every day's a blessing. Go forth and serve the city of Los Angeles. This meeting's over.